Alrighty. Welcome back. Welcome home. Welcome back to the live stream. How we doing? Good morning, everyone. Morning, traders. How's the morning treating you? It's a little chilly in Florida today. It's actually sort of nice. I think it's going to be cold. I think it's going to be cold all day, actually. Hold on here. Come on now. Let's load. 56 right now. High of 80. Not bad. Morning, guys. Morning, Chef. Very good words there. 45 in Tampa. Damn. I like it, though. I like that morning chill. The winter's coming. Winter is coming. All right. Morning, guys. Welcome back. FOMC today. FOMC today. Margin. New people in the chat, welcome, and hit the like button. Absolutely. Press the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, you got to get to Florida, Chef. Except in a few months, it's going to be better to be where you're at. It's going to be better to be where you are at in about, what is that? 4 months? It's going to get disgusting in Florida. Not going to want to be here. All right. How do you guys do yesterday? Really not much. I mean, I think the key of yesterday, which I already talked to you guys in the community about, was the QQQ level and the 20 SMA on the S&P 500. Knowing not to short into those two levels yesterday was the key of the day, right? We went into that in great detail as we were trading live in the group. We're not going to short into a hole. We talked about the horny bear syndrome yesterday in the pre-market. We're not going to short into the daily 20 on the ES. We're not going to short into the QQQ demand. And that was the perfect read. And that saved a lot, I think, from hopefully some of you, from that downside attempt into those levels, which held very strong yesterday. And we reverted back to sort of a mean here before FOMC. So a pretty common move, right? We're not going to get major breakdowns. We're not going to get major breakouts. We're not going to get anything major before FOMC. It's just what happens every time. So when you have a big level approaching, don't expect it to break right before a major economic event, right? The likelihood is that it holds again. Market wants to remain balanced into that big event, which is today. It's pretty much all you saw yesterday. The market just balancing itself back to the mean into the FOMC move. That was pretty much our entire day yesterday. Yeah, AMD downside was pretty good yesterday. We caught a little piece there. Got TradeZella yesterday. Nice. Used the code DESI. Nice. Hopefully you enjoy TradeZella. I definitely do. I mean, you don't want to short tickers at those levels. You also don't want to short, QQQ SPY at the major levels. We'll talk about it here, Nick. But yeah, you also don't want to, if the QQQ is at that major demand, if the SPY is at that 20 SMA, I'm not going to be entering shorts on individual stocks, knowing that market can maintain those stocks higher. That's definitely a very big takeaway there. TTL, trust the levels. Trust him. That's all you can do. All right, let's get started. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We're here every single day. Every single day. Unless I'm traveling. Unless I'm in New York, which is usually where I am. Man, I've been to New York a lot lately. It might even be more often here in the future. But let's press that like button. Let's subscribe to the channel. And let's get it started. Trickle into the Champions Club. Trickle into the stadium. Take your seats. Tell the guy next to you to shut up and pay attention. All right. Let's do it. Economic calendar. Here we go. So today is FOMC. Today is the big event. You guys can see right here, 2 o'clock today, you'll get your federal funds rate. You'll get your economic projections. You'll get your FOMC statement. And then 2:30, you're going to get Mr. Jerome Powell on the stand, ready to go, ready to say the same thing he says every time. So we'll see if there's anything that changes. We'll see if there's any changes in the projections. That's really going to be the most important. I don't expect the federal funds rate today to really surprise anyone, but I think the main thing that's going to be focused on is the future projections. What are they? Did they change anything based off of some of the new data that they've received? That's really, I think, going to be the most important. Federal funds rate, 2 o'clock. Jerome Powell, 2:30. If you guys have traded FOMC before, you know that there's usually a little volatility around 2. There's a little bit of a switch up around 2:30. And then once Jerome Powell gets off the stand, you usually get sort of that continuation move of whatever direction that we are going to be looking at. So it's going to be a lot of back and forth between that 2 o'clock and 2:30 time frame. Usually midway through Jerome Powell's conference, you start to get like the real movement on the market. So I would not expect the market to go one direction and stay that direction at 2 o'clock. You're going to usually get flips, switch ups, volatility. I would be very careful trusting something from 2 o'clock all the way through the event at 2:30. Right? Usually you get like a big pop, then it sort of retraces, and then you either get that continuation move or you get that sort of reversal move. So either way, the likelihood of me day trading today is near zero. It is near zero. I had a big day yesterday, as you guys know. I have zero interest in messing that up today off of a totally unknown sort of shiny object type day. It's just not the type of day that I get aggressive. There's no need for it. There's just no need. When I know that I can make money on normal days without major economic events, I don't need to get crazy here on a day like today. That's at least my mindset. That's how I trade. I trade for more of that, everything is remaining consistent. I don't really try to look for those outlier days in my trading. I don't like to do that. It usually messes me up. And in a day like today, the one thing, here's the one. What's up, brother? The one thing today that I'm interested in is what's the overall move post 2:30? What's the sort of structured strong move post 2:30? And is there some swing trades if I can see or sense a direction? If I can sense a direction today, like a strong direction that I think will continue, is there some swing trades? Because there's some very strong pullbacks that I'm interested in for upside if we get that upside to come in, right? Big if, but I'll sort of break down some things that I'm very closely watching today if we get some clear direction today post 2:30. Is there some swings that are setting up? I'll talk about that today. Tomorrow, unemployment claims, normal stuff, manufacturing PMI, and then you close the week with Jerome Powell talking a little bit again at 9 o'clock on Friday. All right, let's jump into it. So yesterday, the NASDAQ, really the QQQ was the very important thing yesterday, guys. We talked about this level. We talked about that gap fill level. We talked about the 433.70. We talked about how we cannot be shorting into this low, right? We had this low here yesterday, right here. We had that low. We had that low. We had that previous Friday low. And we said, hey, we're moving down in the pre-market into this level, but we cannot start getting aggressive on the shorts into this level, right? We have to trust that this could be a hold level, because yesterday, what did we get? All right, we got that downside in the pre-market. We got the downside in the pre-market. What does that typically do to retail traders? We know this. We should know this. If you come to my live streams, you should know this. If you stay educated with how we trade the market here, you should know this. We do not get horned up on pre-market moves. That's just not what you do ever. It's a very, very bad, I think, habit to think that a pre-market move is going to just continue all day. Very often, you get pre-market moves that reverse, that just become major fake outs. And that is exactly what you got yesterday. You got pre-market downside, you got a drop intraday, but if you trusted the levels, you knew that you had terrible risk reward shorting into this QQQ level. All right. We talked about this all morning. If you guys are part of the Discord, you know this was basically all I was talking about for the first hour of the market, saying I am not going to short into this low. It is not the move to be looking for after that pre-market downside into that demand. FOMC tomorrow. Very unlikely that you're going to break a major level into FOMC, and that is exactly what we did yesterday. That was a beautiful hold and a nice continuation back to the upside. Pretty much just reverting to the mean, right? Reverting back to the center of this channel. That's all yesterday was a reversion to the mean back towards that 20 SMA. That's what we got yesterday. We got to push back above that 438, and we had a very nice hold of that 438. I'll go back into the QQQ. Let's just go into the NASDAQ here real quick. So, NASDAQ, that 18,000 level held well, right? We had that 18,000, right? We had that 18,000 that held well yesterday. We got back above the 18,160, right? And we can see right here, after we got back above that 18,160, there was a nice little continuation on the NASDAQ. We had 18,160, we had 18,160, 18,160, pre-market 18,160. And after we got back above that 18,160 yesterday, look at the sort of quick squeeze that came in. Right over that 18,160, we got that quick squeeze and that continuation, reclaiming that level very nicely. This morning, you can see that we're remaining relatively strong. I don't really have a level here, but we can put a little level here. I don't really think it's a very major level, but we can see that overall, generally, there is some willingness to hold around this 18,220. Right? We can see right here, 18,220, 220, 220. We have this 220 here yesterday, and we can see in the pre-market, we're sort of holding right above that level. So if we drop this down a little bit closer, zoom into just day over day, you can see right here, look at this late day hold at 18,220 on the NASDAQ futures, which has turned into a pretty solid hold here, all in the pre-market today. So this could be a level that we watch today to see if it holds again. We definitely have that 18,160 demand as well. Two levels to be watching if we get downside, right? Two definitely demand levels that I'm watching. If we get downside, not going to short into this 18,220, not going to short into this 18,160. We're back above the daily 20, which is very interesting. Yesterday, you can see we rejected it. Today, we're back above it. So let's see what happens at this daily 20 today. Let's see if that hold comes in. The next upside supply is 18.4, right? The next upside supply, the real upside supply is right here. 18.4, 18.4, 18.4, 18.4, 18.4, 18.4, 18.4. And that is the next level that you are watching if we get further upside. 18.4. So really, I'm going to put this 18,220 back on my charts. But really, where is the NASDAQ? It is right in the center of a channel. And this is twilight zone, okay? This is not where you want to be getting active here on the market. You do not want to be getting active right in the center of a demand at 160 and an important supply at 400. I am not going to be getting involved on the market in the exact center of this channel, okay? If we run a fib from the lows, this demand low to this supply high, you are trading pretty much right at the 50% of this channel. So, do I like anything this morning to really get active before FOMC? Not at all. The market is doing what it should be, right? It's sort of right in the center of a decision, two major decision levels, right? If you get over 440, you will continue higher. If you get under 160, you will continue lower. And you are basically right in the center waiting for the event, right? And so do I think today's action before 2 o'clock is going to be some of the best action that you've ever traded? No. I think it's going to be some of the worst action that you're ever going to trade. You are sitting right in the center of a channel between two major levels and getting active this morning, looking for little scalps, trying to day trade on the 2-minute chart today before 2 o'clock is probably going to be some of the worst action that you could get involved with. So I'm not very interested this morning at all. I don't like where the NASDAQ is. You can see it's sitting right in the center of this channel here. It's just sort of dancing right here. Really nothing that's really giving me any insight. If we break under that 18,160, then I'll look for that downside. If we break over that 18,400, I'll look for some upside, maybe into that 18.5, into that 18.6. So we need a key level to break, right? That is what we need today before we get active. We need some key levels to break. We need either a break over this 18.4 or a break back below this 18,160. I need something there. I either need maybe a rejection here, maybe a demand hold here. I need something at my levels. I will not be getting active in the center. Okay? So let's see if we can get a test of that 18.4. Let's see if we can get a test back at that 18,160, maybe even a test back at that 18,000. But without those tests, you are just trading in thin air. You are trading in thin air. And if you want to trade in thin air before FOMC, that is if that's your prerogative, then go right for it. But that is definitely not what I'm going to be looking for today. QQQ. Pretty much the same read here, right? What's the larger channel here? The larger channel is this, right? This is your larger channel here over the last few days. It is between 442 supply and it is between the 433 gap fill level demand. And you are sitting basically right in the center of this channel today, approaching FOMC. I have no interest in trying to guess what this does in the center of this channel. I would look for a push back into 442, maybe for some rejections. I would look for a drop, maybe back into this 433 demand, maybe for some demand, right? Or I would look for the breaks of these levels, right, before getting active. The only short-term level that I would be looking at today, which is a possible, intraday hold level, is around this 437.50. It's right in here. You guys can see right here. We have 437.50. We have 437.50, 437.50, 437.50, and 437.50. So there is maybe some, short-term hold here at 437.50. Maybe there's some short-term, rejection plays off 437.50 today, depending on what we do at this level here today. But am I going to get that active on that? Probably not. But you can see this is definitely an inflection point both yesterday here in the pre-market, right? So could you see maybe a short-term trade like this, a little demand hold there? Very possible. Could you see maybe a drop below this level, a rejection of it for a move back down? Very possible, right? There might be some longs or shorts around this area today. It's possible. But I would rather just sit patient, wait for the FOMC to come out, and then watch for the continuation moves. That's more attractive to me today. ES, what a hold, again, of the daily 20 SMA. So, yesterday, we said, hey, right, you might like this pre-market downside. You might be getting excited. But if you short into the open today, you are shorting right into the daily 20. And the daily 20 has been the level that's held every single time it's been tested on the ES, and it did it again. So if you longed this daily 20 yesterday and you trusted the levels, well done. Congratulations. That was a great trade. Look at how well it holds once again. Yesterday, another example of the daily 20 not giving up, right? Look at this right here. Look at this daily chart on the ES. This is pretty wild. Every single time that the ES comes down to this blue line, it holds, and you do not short into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yesterday, 8. 8 times just holding and holding and holding above that daily 20 SMA. So we can see it did it again. Let's put our levels back on the charts. We'll go ahead and zoom into this chart here. After we held that daily 20, we got back above that 52.20. That was very strong. And guess what we're holding above today? We're right now holding above that 52.35, 52.34 area. So today, here's what I'm watching. We definitely know that we're not going to start going long into this, right? We're not going to start longing into this double top high. That is definitely aware, right? We're not going to start longing into this potential triple top high here. So where do we need to see? We definitely need to see a hold above this level for confirmation of upside, above that 52.56. The short-term level that I'd be watching this morning is this little 52.35. You can see right here, 52.35, 52.35 area. This could be sort of a maintain level today. If you drop under that, it looks like there was something stepping up here around 52.28. Let me see if I see anything really at that level, though. Let me extend that to the left. It's not really that. I mean, you can see a little bit here, a little bit here. You can see it held yesterday. I'm not in love with that level. It's sort of there, but I think this 52.34, 52.35 is a little bit more important. If I go into the hourly chart, we can see previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, previous lows, a little bit of high there, right? You can see a hold here. So I do like how the ES is holding this 52.34 this morning. Definitely staying strong. If you break under that, I'd be looking for this 52.20. This 52.20 might be the proper level to look for a pullback long today. So I'm going to be watching 52.20 demand, 52.35. You obviously are still above that daily 20, and then we're watching the upside supply at 52.56. Okay, I would not short into this level or this level. I would definitely not short into 52.20 today. You have 52.20. You have yesterday's morning high. You can see, look at this yesterday. You had the lows from Monday. You had a retest and rejection yesterday, and you got back above it. So I am now thinking that 52.20, if we do pull back to it, is a potential hold level. I would not want to be short into this 52.20 here. So 52.35, 52.20 are two pullback levels that I'm watching today. SPY, let's go to the 1 hour chart. Look at the perfection that came in yesterday, man. Look at this. I hope you were watching this daily 20 yesterday. In the pre-market, we dropped right into it. I mean, I think this is to the cent. What was the low? 510.29. It was to the cent. It was to the cent. There could not have been a closer touch. It was perfection touch of the daily 20 yesterday. The low of yesterday in the pre-market was 510.29, which was the exact daily 20 SMA level to the cent. Insane, okay? You do not short into this level. And that was, again, the perfection hold. And if we go to the 30-minute chart, what happened the last time that we got to that daily 20 on Friday? Big upside. We come back to it. Big upside. What a beautiful level that is. So very nice there. If you're watching your levels, if you're focused, if you're doing your technical analysis, if you're doing your due diligence, then you knew that you should not be shorting into that yesterday. 512, we got back above it. After reclaiming 512, let me go ahead and show you what happened yesterday at 512. You guys can see right here. Afternoon yesterday, we got over that 512, which held very, very nicely. All right, and I want to show you something. I'm going to show you something right now because this was very clear yesterday afternoon. It was setting up, and you could start to see that structure build on the intraday. So right here. Around 11:28. You guys can see, posted this to the group. maintaining over 512, right? And look at how strong we had that 512 rejection that we started to maintain above it. See how the market structures there? That's a telltale sign that you are turning a previous rejection into an intraday support right there in the intraday, right? And that is a fantastic opportunity to try to set up a long, right? Have your stop loss right under that 512, very structured stop loss under that 512, enter the market long, and trust that 512 level. This was something we talked about in the group yesterday, and you can see that 512 level, after reclaiming it yesterday, surely resulted in a fantastic long opportunity. So very nice there. Again, TTL, that was very clean. 512 was our previous level, right? Level. Nice hold. Above that created upside. Today, you are above the 515. 515, and look at what's happening this pre-market above 515. Look how well the SPY is maintaining over 515. 515. This morning, 1 hold, 2 holds. You're trying to maintain this 515. So if you hold over 515 on the intraday today, maybe there's some opportunity to the upside, right? Maybe there's some opportunity to the upside. The next level to be watching above is the 518. 518 double top highs. That is your supply right there. Okay? So 515, big level. 518, big supply above. If you break under that 515, just 515 today, possibly a pullback to that 512. Okay? All right. RTY, Russell, still under our supply level. That's what we're watching. Still under that daily 20 and that 2066, 2070 area. I would probably put this at 2070. That's probably the right level for it. 2070, careful of that supply above and careful of that daily 20. Dow Jones, nothing. Just complete sideways on the Dow. I got nothing for you. Dow Jones, Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones. I got nothing for you here, guys. You are just sitting between a 1,000-point channel on the Dow, and I would wait for something a little bit clearer here before getting involved. All right, we got 2,000 people, 700 likes. If you guys could, press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Let's jump into some stocks. Let's jump into some stocks today. So, Tesla 175 actually created an awesome short opportunity. And we talked about this in the pre-market yesterday. It did it in the pre-market, which sort of sucks, right? It sort of started in the pre-market, had a little pop in the morning, but eventually gave you that downside move. Rest of the day, after the market held, it just sort of consolidated and did nothing. 4-hour chart, still a very possible break and retest rejection on Tesla. That's if the market is weak today, right? That's a big if. If the market does show weakness today, this 175 level could still set up to be a short side entry, okay? Right here, 175, and yesterday again, 175. So if you see, right, 175 start to get weak again today, could there be another fade here? Absolutely. That's definitely something I would be watching. Now, if the market's strong, and we do get over that 175 level, I think there's a very real possibility that Tesla is going to want to retest this level, right, before any kind of, maybe more downside continuation. I think it is possible that the Tesla wants to get back towards that daily 20 and test this area, right? So if you get over 175 and you start to hold it today, I would say Tesla probably makes a move towards that 184. Maybe not today, but at some time in the future, I think Tesla is going to want to retrace and revert back to that daily 20, which is then where I would probably be more interested in if that's a rejection point or if that's where Tesla really starts to find its upside groove. So the daily 20 is right here at this 184, 185. This is likely where I think Tesla is sort of heading towards next. I don't think that this is a, Tesla's going to move back to 200 type of move, but this is just sort of a short-term reversion move that I think is probably going to happen, back towards this 184, back towards some of these supply highs, back towards that daily 20, right? So I'm a little bit interested in this 175 rejection, but I think I'd be more interested in this 20 SMA rejection if we get that move, right? I'd be a little bit more interested up here for better risk reward at Tesla 184, all right? Nvidia, man, I can't say that I'm a little bit bullish on Nvidia here. I can't lie. If FOMC results in some upside on this market, I would not be shocked for a second to see this consolidation turn into the next breakout move on Nvidia. Typically, right, you get that consolidation, you get that sort of maybe this little descending triangle, right? You can see right here, we've had a flat bottom at 850. We've had a perfect hold of the daily 20 yesterday, right? Look how the daily 20, we've talked about this. The daily 20 SMA catching up to price action, okay? We have talked about this many times. We've talked about how hey, I want to long Nvidia back at the daily 20, but if Nvidia does not pull back any further, what you actually want to see is that it correct in terms of timing, right? You can see that the 20 SMA has caught up to price action. Price action has not come down to the daily 20. The daily 20 has come up to price action. And so this is a nice, very nice potential double bottom consolidation above the 20. Nice maybe accumulation here on Nvidia. If we do get sort of that freedom move on the market, that's a big if, but if you start to see it, and this is what I was talking about earlier, if I start to see 2:30, 2:45, 3 o'clock comes around today, and I'm seeing the market starting to rip with some strong price action, I am absolutely going to be looking at whether Nvidia is starting to make this move. And if Nvidia starts making this move, I am absolutely interested in the swing trade potential. This is probably my top watch today. This idea does not work if the market tanks today, okay? If we start tanking off FOMC, this is not something I'm interested in. But if we start seeing that movement, if we start seeing that action, and Nvidia starts really maintaining, let's say, this 890 level, let's say Nvidia gets over this 912. So if I go here, you can see we have some rejections around this 912 area, right? We have 912, 912, 912, some rejections here. If we start getting above this, if we start holding above this, and I start seeing that action step in, definitely interested. So let's see. Right now, it's still just consolidation, right? Right now, honestly, I'd rather be long. If I had to be honest, I'd rather be long here, right? This is a much better long spot at 850. If we get a pullback today and we start to hold here, this could be interesting to see if this is another entry down here at 850. Either way, I am not sold yet that Nvidia is done because of this 20 SMA hold. This 20 SMA hold is really what interests me. The fact that the last time we consolidated and the price action caught up to the daily 20 caught up, look at the result of that move. This is, again, consolidation with the daily 20 catching up to this move. This is interesting. Watch that 850. Watch that daily 20. AMD. Let's watch 184 today. 184 has been a rejection spot. We can monitor that today. The only problem that I see is AMD came right down to our target level yesterday of the 50 SMA and held beautifully. Okay, we were looking at AMD shorts off of 184 into the 50 SMA. That is exactly what AMD did yesterday. Exactly. So I'm not that fond of shorting back into that 50. It's possible to catch maybe a scalp, but I'm thinking that this 50 SMA is going to try to hold on AMD. Watch this 184 level. If you get back above this 184, then I think AMD will try to retrace, right, after holding that 50. If you reject this 184, you might be able to play that scalp back to the downside, but be careful of that 50 below. SMCI, I'm done with. I have no interest in it. It's holding in a middle of nowhere, in my opinion. I don't understand why SMCI is holding here. I don't see any levels in this area. There's a little bit of action here around 870, 866, but I don't like it at all. I think I would have thought SMCI should have pulled back to this 800. The only thing that I'd look for on SMCI from this point forward is a bounce into 1,000 and a rejection of it. That's about the only thing I'd look for. If we bounce back into this high, into these lows, and back into the daily 20, if we get this bounce, I would potentially look for that short again off of 1,000. But I am not interested in trading in this chop nonsense that happened yesterday. So SMCI has been retired. Whether it needs to come down to this 800 for me, or it needs to bounce back into 1,000. I am only going to trade it if it's here or here. I will not be involved in the twilight zone, in the purgatory of trading in the middle of nowhere. This is purgatory. This is where you start taking action for no reason, and you get absolutely annihilated. Do not trade stocks that are not at major levels. Don't do it. Stop doing it. Ask yourself before you enter something, are we at a major level? If the answer to that is no, don't take the trade. All right. TSM, also an interesting one on this pullback. You guys can see right here, this 4-hour chart. We're holding this 134 level pretty nicely. 134, 134. Look at yesterday at 134. A pretty nice bounce out of that level. You can see a nice bounce out of that level. Still a little bit stuck at that daily 20. But if I look at this 4-hour chart, not terrible, right? I'm going to be monitoring this. Is this a continuation of downside, right? Do we stay under this downtrend, or is this a pullback that I could be sort of watching here on TSM? Going to be watching that 134 level on TSM very closely. Coinbase, I would be done shorting this. I do not like shorts anymore on Coinbase. Why? Because of look at that 20 SMA, right? Look at this 20 SMA yesterday. You can see right here, we had that 213 demand. Coinbase made a little double bottom low. It held the 20 like a champ, right? Look, if I zoom in on this on the hourly, see that blue line? Look at how well that held yesterday. Not going to short Coinbase into this 20. Not going to short it into this 213. Honestly, this could be consolidation for the next upside move if Bitcoin can get sort of its shit back together, unless Bitcoin starts to die off. But I would not be shorting coin back into this 213, back into this daily 20. If anything, this could result in a next long. I'd be monitoring how coin sort of consolidates around this 213 and this 20 SMA here. Sort of interesting there. Microsoft staying pretty strong. And yesterday, it held that daily 20 very nicely, right? We held that 412 demand really nice. We're actually trying to get back above this high right here. This high right here is 421.33. 421.33, right, is the exact high right here. So I'd be sort of watching today. Do we hold above that 421.33? That is exactly the previous day high. Do we hold above this today? If we do, is there a long entry here on Microsoft, right? Above this level, above that rejection level from Friday, above yesterday's highs. If we start to hold here, right, this could be an interesting long. So I'm going to watch this 421.33. The other thing that makes me very interested on Microsoft is this weekly chart. Look at this weekly chart. Very strong consolidation on the weekly. Could absolutely result in that next leg higher. And you can see right here, if I go to the daily, we're holding above the 20. We're holding above that 412. If we can get that push above this high right here, I think Microsoft could continue here. Very strong hold on Microsoft yesterday. Definitely seems like it's a little bit of outperformance. Amazon, I got nothing for you. Complete chop fest. I got nothing for you on Amazon in this zone. I would not trade Amazon unless it's above here or below here, right? This is chop fest Amazon. Not interested. The only level that you can maybe trade off of is this 176.50, 176.60. But I'm not interested in that. And this is very similar to Meta. Meta is another stock that's in a complete chop fest range, right? You can long the lows. You can short the highs. You know, that's definitely possible. You can see yesterday was, again, another long off the lows. Very nice. It could be, again, another short off the highs. Could be very nice there. I would want to see if Meta can get over 505. If it can, very interesting long. If it can get under 480, very interesting short. But right now, you are in a sideways channel, and I would just have your alerts ready to go. Right? Have my alert there. Have my alert down here. If these alerts get hit, then I know there's a trade that could start to happen. Right? That's how I would trade that. Google, sort of interesting at this 147 hold. Right here. Look at this 147 hold. I got to go to the 4-hour chart. So here's the 4-hour on Google. You have this previous 147 level that we're trying our best to hold above. We're trying our best to hold above that 147. So let's see if it holds above that 147 on Google. Could be interesting. The only thing I have problems with is this high right here that rejected very aggressively at 151. So I would say if you're going to watch Google today, look to see if we can get that 147 to really hold on. If that really holds on, this could be like a little bit of a flag here, right, to result from more upside. Watch that 147. What is NVO, Anna? Maybe pull back to the 20, Anna? That's what I'd look for. You need it back down to like 128. What else? I mean, yeah, Chipotle 50 to 1, guys. Right? Who the hell knows? You know, if you want to long it after this, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to be the one to tell you to do that. Apple. I think Apple is on its way, possibly, unless it rejects the daily 20. I'm thinking Apple maybe wants to grind higher here towards this 180. This is where I think Apple may want to come back up to 180, 180, 180, 180, 180. All right, look at all these 180 tests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 holds of 180 that resulted in a big flush to the downside. My opinion right now is that if Apple, let me go to the hourly chart. If Apple can hold over this level right here, 174.50, if we can hold above this 174.50 and get above this daily 20, I'm going to assume Apple wants to retrace back to that 180. All right, that's probably your next move on Apple. It's not that strong of a move. It's not really that bullish of a move. It's just a retracement or a retest of that previous breakdown point. So I'd say Apple maybe back towards 180 is possible, but I'd be very careful longing Apple once it gets close to that, because this could just be a major sort of break, retest, rejection, right, of that 180 level. So I'd watch out for 180 on Apple. Yeah, Intel had some new chips today, guys. I mean, guys, Intel has traded sideways the entire year. So I have not a single interest in that. Netflix. Yeah, I mean, Netflix has held very strong, has continued to maintain very strong. Again, a very strong hold of that 608 level yesterday after a big drop. So Netflix is definitely continuing to be an outperformer on this market. That's for sure. It's pretty much at its highs. The only thing you have left in your way is like the 625 supply. You just need Netflix to hold above this level. You need Netflix to get above this 625, clear this supply out, and you will get your upside move. But right now, it is just sort of stuck right at that 625. So if you're going to look to long Netflix, I think you need to get over that 625, or you're going to have to trust a long back down here at 608. But yeah, right now, 625, big level there. Boeing, more drama out of Boeing. Couple news articles this morning. It says CFO says cash flow to be hit by production delays. Nothing good out of Boeing. Nothing good. If we go to the 4-hour chart, we can see Boeing has traded back to its 2023 lows. This was our target, if you guys remember. Back down here at 176. This was sort of our target on Boeing. That is exactly where it traded back down to, into that 176 low. Am I excited today to short into this 2023 low? Not at all. Okay, this is possibly the worst spot to be getting excited on Boeing. You could have shorted it for the last month down into this level. I would be very careful trying to short into a 2023 low. That is a little bit questionable in my eyes. Does Boeing... Sounds like a plane's going down over my house right now. Boeing. Let me try to get more time here. I mean, if it can really hold below it, maybe you can catch something. But I would be very careful here trying to short into this 2023 low. 176. And this is the level. If you look at the 5-minute chart today, 176 is the exact level that sort of held here today. Right? You can see it. It's trying to hold this 176. So be careful there. That's definitely a potential hold level. If you get a very strong move under it, then maybe there's something for you, right? If you really see 176, say, hey, I'm not holding, I'm breaking. If you start to see that stock starting to break under 176, then maybe there's something there for you. But just make sure you're aware that if you short Boeing today, you are shorting it into the lows of 2023. Just know that, okay? All right. What did I miss? We went over Netflix. We went over Amazon. We went over Google. We went over Microsoft, Coinbase. We went over Tesla, Nvidia, AMD, TSM, Meta. I think we went over pretty much everything here, man. Let me see. Go through real quick. See if I missed anything. We went over SMCI. Yeah. Not going over DWAC. I am not going over DWAC. All right. Let's jump back into the futures real quick. Let's get another read on these. Guys, we just went over Apple. Please remember, do your best to understand that you have FOMC at 2 o'clock. Try to relay that message from your head to your fingertips. I know that's hard sometimes. You do not need to trade before 2 o'clock today. You do not need to trade at all today. You could just let the market do nothing for the first 4 hours of the day and then watch to see what the reaction is post FOMC. See if there's something that you can read and get a feeling for without emotion, without a position, and then see if there's something later date today that you could catch on to, right? That's my game plan today. I'm going to save all of my buying power today for something later. This is the last thing, okay? This is the last thing that what's up, brother? This is the last thing that you want to happen today. You're going to use all of your buying power for absolute shit trades in the morning. And then you're going to see the market start ripping in a very clear direction or dropping in a very clear direction. You see some stocks that you were watching starting to make those moves, and you have zero buying power left because you used it all trading in a shit show. All right? That's the last thing you want to happen today. And I can guarantee you that's going to happen to some people today. And that is what I do not want to happen to me. Okay? I want my buying power for the real move that could occur later today or tomorrow. I do not want to be trading in a shit show early morning, trying to catch meaningless moves before a major economic event. Okay? This is the right way to play today. Do you? But that's what I'm going to do. So, see what happens. Let's see. If you guys could, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow. Peace out.